What kind of stuff are they giving you the most trouble about in terms of censorship? Nudity or
like
language?
waking up.
Just getting out of bed in the morning?
They just have it in their minds that they want to hire somebody, but they don't want any communication made. You know, they want to like make you into something. I don't know. It's like, I guess it goes into white homes. They're worried about that a lot.
What did it? Yeah, you know, it's funny. Gwen Barrett, our associate producer, sometime producer, is black. You know, and Carmen Matias, Hispanic.
You have to be colored to be on television. You can't,
yeah, colored.
Yes, you can't be black. You have to have a little colored in there, just a taste.
Tad.
Yeah, just to keep it interesting for America.
Yeah. Well, she said, we were talking about your humor, that your humor offends white people, and I'm not that easily offended. Like, I'm not coming from a spot where Richard Pryor is going to offend me. I think you have humor that makes us see a lot of the truth and laugh at things we wouldn't normally laugh at. I think that's part of what you're doing. What do you think that these executives are afraid you're going to do to white America?
Probably stop some racism.
Stop racism?
What's up, guys? What's up? So, we back for the other part of the video. I've already done part 1 earlier. We did an hour and 20 minutes of the video. It took me all of 3 hours to do. Let's hope this part doesn't take as long as that other part doing. And, well, I just got in. It was either be late and push the stream back, or just be in and you guys watch me motherfucking eat. And saying I'm gonna be doing this trying to be doing this as a full-time thing. Again, I guess you're gonna be watching me eat. Then we're going into the gaming. But if you don't know, or if you don't remember where we last left off, and this is why it's titled this, The Revenge, is because basically Professor Flowers has started doing and I had forgot how bad it got, the calls for revenge and the obtuseness of, like, how she just want to be racist against white people. That's just it. And for you guys on the left who says black people can't be racist, this is an example of that shit. So let's get started in this video, and we're gonna bring it back here. Let's go.
You don't want us to be here, so help us get out.
Did you know I recently argued with some neo-Nazis who said that they actually call out Marcus Garvey? They actually said black separatists were the truest representations of black people. I was talking with Eric Stryker, I think, and James Alsup, formerly a large Nazi YouTuber, and they were arguing that the true representatives of black interest were black separatists because they shared the argument that white and black people were culturally distinct and not capable of living together. So the arguments that white nationalists and black separatists use are identical. The conspiracy theories vary, and the aggrieved and the victors vary. Of course, we're talking about different groups, but the logic is the same. Like the Black Hammers, you know?
So this is true. What you'll see with a lot of these people that work with racists, like, oh, you don't want us here? We don't want to be here. We don't want to be around you. And it's a mutual understanding of hatred for each other. And I'm sorry. If you're on the left, that's not the fuck you want to do. Because here's the thing. Familiarity breeds comfortability. One of the things that I want to do, one of the things that I want to push with having this YouTube channel, with expanding, I want to push more black people on YouTube where they can actually expound their belief. Whether or not I agree with them or not, if I disagree with them, they just give me fodder to like talk about their bad fucking views. But the fact is, separatism is never fucking good. It's not. And if you're going to be one of those people who's like, well, I always want to live separate from my oppressors, you're not trying to get away from fucking capitalism. You just don't like white people. But let's go.
Like a lot of black separatists who, again, as we've already said, are anti-Semitic, homophobic, and they definitely do fall along those lines. There's also black separatists who just want to be away from the people who oppress them.
Yeah.
But the people who oppress them are long dead. Even if you're just talking about the civil rights movement, a lot of people are long dead or dying. Does that mean all white people are bad? No. Fuck, this is stupid.
Yeah, but if black people want to leave, if black people want to leave the U.S., I mean,
having their own space, or even like talking about how like things are divided by racial lines without you calling them a segregationist. I think that's really unfair because there actually are people who are segregationists. That's kind of.
If you want to separate based on racial guidelines, that's a segregationist. There's no way around it. You mad because it feels icky to say that shit? Well, be mad. You're doing the shit. I don't give a fuck that your feelings are hurt because I'm comparing you to the people that you think are trash is doing the same goddamn thing you are. Stop doing the shit. Stop calling for the shit. And then I won't think you're trash. Fuck, this is stupid.
Like the whole point
They're
of
both
the state.
segregationists.
Like I think maybe at the end of the day, we can agree that like, okay, mass genocide isn't good. How about that? Like we agree on that. And I think that like where we disagree is there are. No, I'm saying that like the thing that I'm defending is saying that when people are colonized, sometimes there's violence, sometimes there's civil war.
Well,
and I'm saying like maybe
that's defending it. You're saying it's okay for a state to do this shit. That's defending it. Let's go.
has to happen to decolonize themselves.
I'm not. Wait, we're not talking. You didn't say. Sometimes there's violence. You said no. I saw your video.
You said you're like, what happened with Hitler? He killed 6 million people. Do you think it'd be right to just kill 6 million people? And I was like, you know what? I actually don't think that's right. But the thing that I'm defending is that there are people who don't want to live with people who oppress them, and that looks very different when you look at all these different countries that have been colonized. Again, some people have done that peacefully, and that's great. They're able to end colonialism peacefully. And then other people, there were civil wars. You know what I'm saying? And like people need to have to be able to have the space to figure that out. Especially colonized people.
I understand.
Oh no, I got the Hakeem conversation. It's sitting right here on some bullshit. As a matter of fact, let me say that to the list.
Colonization could be a bloody project. Well, no, the point that you made was that oppressed people have a right to physically excise the race they associate with their oppressors if they seize control of a state, which is a form of genocide. Undeniably, a mass deportation of people, at the very least, counts as a cultural genocide. UN definitions vary, which I just don't think is defensible.
It is that people should have the right to determine if they want to live with people who have colonized them or not.
That's what I just said.
There's like a lot of different ways that looks like. There's a lot of different ways that looks like. And I think I probably will draw the line at genocide. How about that?
Well, I think
genocide is wrong. But I think there's like a lot of different ways that can look like besides like mass deportation. Like I keep on giving you like a couple of different examples. And it's like
if it results in them leaving the country because of harsh economic or social conditions, that's genocide. You dumb fuck. Oh my God, I'm angry from customers today. It's very depressing.
Those are the examples that I'm talking about.
I know, it's just you already defended it, though. You are in the context of South Africa, where there are 6 million.
Well, I'm not defending genocide over here. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That is a lot.
You said you defended their right to live without their colonizers, which means mass deportation at the least violent, which means genocide.
No, again, I said that Kenya got rid of colonization.
How many times can you spell out to this chick that when you force people out of your country, that's cultural genocide? How many times? How many times? And again, she's using the Kenya example where a lot of those people didn't leave voluntarily. Fuck out of here, dude. Like, for real.
Colonization by taking back their farms, for example. They took back their businesses to the point where the people colonized and didn't have any power, so they left.
The whole race left?
Like, that's one example.
How many of them were there?
A lot of them left. It's not a separatist place. I don't know. Let's look up how many people colonized Kenya. Probably a lot.
And here's this equation of white people means colonizers. And this is so fucking stupid. This is so fucking stupid. This is the reason why, and I put it in my Discord, that people like her, especially people like Hassan, because I saw that video that he did with Ethan, the recent one. They're sitting from a fucking high horse. And you know, if they wouldn't join in the exercising these people out of the country, they would show enough cheer the shit on.
Wikipedia isn't helping me out that much with this one. The whole history of Kenya, huh? Somebody in chat just said 200 million. That seems unlikely to me. I don't know the particulars about Kenya. I'm only saying that genocide is probably pretty bad. And I guess
can
I
agree on that,
stand by that point.
Like,
yeah, but
that's
you
not
still
really-
do so much racial
like,
essentialization.
Again, you're like attacking a straw man. It's like, great, we can all agree that genocide is bad. What I'm talking about is that when people decolonize themselves, it looks like a lot of different things, and people have to have the ability to have the conversation, and the
It's
space
true,
to have a conversation.
but
And there's also an issue. Anyone talks about like racialized issues, like with No Name, for example, No Name will just be like, this tweet isn't for you, while talking with white people, and like, oh, you're a segregationist. No, that's a really
That is literally segregation. That is literally segregation. At what point does she not understand that?
it is a segregation.
You're just like talking out all these terms. You know what I'm saying?
I think I can defend the terms that I use.
Claim St. Andrew of wanting to have a race war.
I would need
you see
to see
what I'm
the
saying?
context of that.
It's like that is such an extreme. It's in your same video. So you talk about No Name in one video, and then the next video St. Andrew comes on where you and St. Andrew talk about No Name and St. Andrew's and St. Andrew's tweet. It's in that video. It's like you're throwing out all these terms. So it's like, again, okay, genocide's wrong, but you need to understand that
there's no but to that. Oh my God, this stupid chick is no but to it. Genocide is wrong. Stop. It should be no but. It should be no however. It should be so we shouldn't do it. Fuck out of here, dude.
The way that people decolonize themselves looks really different. That there are wars even.
So hold on. We're moving off these points so far and so fast. You're like backpedaling like crazy. We need to address a couple of fundamental.
I'm not really backpedaling. I'm trying to establish what I'm saying because you're accusing me of saying that I'm cool with genocide, and that's never a claim that
the video.
She's cool with ethnic cleansing. That is genocide. If you say we want to get rid of this group of people, this race of people, that's ethnic cleansing. That is genocide.
So I don't even need to cite the video. In the course of this conversation, you have explicitly said you would be okay with the deportation of an ethnic minority if they were responsible for colonizing the country. You said that in this convo, so I don't even need to cite anything else. Maybe you moved off that point, in which case, congratulations. You also keep essentializing behavior of white people as a group to white people as individuals, where broader socioeconomic problems that are disproportionately exhibited by white people then become white problems, which again, you would not tolerate if I talked about crime and black people in that way. For good reason, because it's unhelpful and it's racist.
Just those two things. I'm okay with people deporting people who have colonized them in the context of colonialism. I'm okay with people who are colonized being like, we need to get rid of the people who have colonized us.
Yeah. So right.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I said.
Cool.
So with and
okay,
I think
great. And then
she's not listening. She's stuck on this point of like, no, you're saying that we couldn't get rid of colonizers. No, that's fine. It's cool to get rid of colonization. But how many grandmas are you gonna fucking force to leave your fucking town? How many kids that are sick are you gonna fucking force to leave your town? How many people that had nothing to do with the colonization are you gonna be are you gonna force to leave your country? And she doesn't get that because all it's about with this chick is revenge. And not only that, Killer, not only that, this is giving ammunition to those white replacement motherfuckers that feel like, oh, we give black people power, we give Hispanics power, they gonna kick us out. And they're too fucking stupid to realize that's the shit that they're saying. They will get on People like the serfs. People like motherfucking people like Thought Slime will get on and say there's no white genocide, but they will be okay with this shit right here that's happening. They will be okay with this shit that's happening. Because no, she's not saying it's genocide, but if you need to leave the country, then you can leave the country.
And also, like, essentializing things, like, I don't think you understand that, like, in the creation of the white identity, like, that was created as a racist structure. People who profit off of, yeah, again, like I already said, the white identity was created because it didn't used to exist. It was created in the early 1600s to justify colonization and slavery, and then continued to hoard resources for people who were enslaved and colonized, or anyone who wasn't considered white. So there's a way where white people are still profiting off of this racist structure. So when I'm saying that, I'm not actually being racist. I'm talking about history here.
Okay, so no, you're not.
I'm not saying racist shit. I'm just telling the truth. I'm just asking questions. The fuck out of here. I know I've been beating this like a fucking dead horse. You go to Middle Tennessee. You go to the Appalachians, parts of Kentucky. Hell, you go to even some parts of in Chicago, and you ask these people in that area that's not people of color if they feel like they're running the world, if they feel like they're benefiting from, colonization, and they will look at you like you're a fucking idiot. People like this that only see oppression in race. And yeah, no, there are people that only see oppression in class too. The reason why they don't see it in class because a lot of these motherfuckers are upper middle class people, or at least middle class people, and it's benefited them to motherfucking have the money that they have. But yeah, no, it's just a lot of this shit. They don't see the fact that they're playing into this fucking stupid ass stereotype. Of course, because for all intents and purposes, Lance is an activist. Although I think he leads into a lot of the audience that Hassan leads into.
Historical racism leads to continued socioeconomic benefits for white people. That statement does not necessarily follow into, I think it's okay to morally impugn an entire race of people because they disproportionately do this thing that I don't like. I think that's morally abhorrent. I think that's racist.
I agree. That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, wait, please. We're going in circles. Look,
specifically colonial. I'm not saying like, I just don't like them. They do things I don't like, so let's just get rid of them. I'm talking about places that have been colonized.
Okay,
being able to get rid of people who colonize them.
Okay, I don't know if we're going to find any more agreement on this.
You live in America. You literally live in America. What do you think that happens in America happened in Americas? Idiot, both of the Americas. What do you think happened? Oh my God, she is this stupid.
This particular subject. The only thing that I guess bugs me at the end of this is that I think that not only is your logic almost identical to a lot of white nationalists that I've talked to, you're actually more mask off than they're willing to be, Like, you have receded now.
I'm masked off because I am talking about racism here.
Well,
and
so
you
are
don't
they.
seem to understand that. You seem to think.
See, here's the thing, and this is the problem with a lot of this shit. A lot of people on the online left give people like Professor Flowers a pass the fact that she is outright saying some racist shit. And I'm sorry, I mean, it's a lot of self-hating white people who grew up middle class and they want to find some sort of oppression, or they want to feel some sort of like, oh, but I feel bad for the fact. Okay, case in point, Jackson Hinkle. Jackson Hinkle literally is the poster child of this bullshit. They had liberal parents. They lived in well-off areas, but they need to find some sort of motherfucking axis of action because they want to differentiate themselves from their parents. Notice how these pro-black separatists talk about their group and not other groups that are minorities that are suffering from under the system. Yeah, no, they never talk about Native Americans. They never talk about Native Americans. They never talk about. As a matter of fact, remember Soul Bunny, who's like, natives aren't oppressed. They have their own lands. Or some shit like that. Yeah. Yeah. When they brought up the fact that Say Her Name was literally about it originally started with Native people. That's what it was. It originally started with Native people. And it was like, no, it wasn't. It was started by black people. It was like, no, it was a Native campaign. Well, it's ours now.
Hey, you seem to think that when people talk about colonialism and say that, hey, we need to let the people who've been colonized figure out what to do about the people who've colonized them and be able to live without being colonized. You think that's the same thing as white nationalism. You're doing it right now. You can't concede that there's more nuance here than just it being white nationalism.
So if it leads to racial essentialism that then leads to the creation of an ethno-state, then yeah, I would say that's essentially white nationalism, except obviously it's not for white people. I mean, the term black nationalism, inarticulate as it may be, you know, black separatism, whatever you want to go with. Look, the issue that I have is when I talk to white nationalists, they hide their intentions a lot better than you seem to have. They're usually like, please.
I don't have anything
They cloak their talking points in metaphor and dog whistle. You know, usually they talk about how they don't have a problem with any of the races. They don't think anyone is worse or better.
See, and this is the thing. Because, and I was saying it just a minute ago, because on one line left, let this shit get away, let people like this get away with this shit, she doesn't have to add it. They say it right down on Front Street. And people, ooh, all the way to the motherfucking bank.
Than the others. They just think that we have different cultures. But your obsequious insistence on racial essentialization for thee but not for me is really, I mean, God, I just want to ask, do you think it's possible that you may have internalized some of the logic of racism, but you might be just reversing it a little bit?
Do you think it's possible that you might actually be misunderstanding what I'm saying? Because I'm saying that white people still benefit off of a structure.
Yes. It's called capitalism. And are you saying that black people don't benefit from that structure? And even if they did, okay, they're not the colonizers.
And that's a problem.
I agree with that. But I don't think that means you can just racially deal with. Yeah, but you can deal with it without racially essentializing white people. It's okay to attack the structure, not races of people.
So I think for a lot of countries, attacking the structure of colonialism means dealing with the white people who have colonized it.
So there we go. There we go. There it is. There it is. That's all it is. Got a problem with your country? Been colonized? Kill the whiteys out of your country in some sort of way in Roblox. That's what she wants to say. Get him out of there. Fuck out of here, man. Like, this is so disgusting.
This is also what modern Nazis say about Jews in America. Did you know that a lot of our political structure
wait, hold on. Is that unfair to say?
Did you know that
unfair to say that the white people who have colonized those countries need to be decolonized?
Okay, hold on.
Is that so wild to say that I'm a white nationalist right now?
Okay, so this is the logic that every group of people I argue against uses. The Nazis will say, is it so ridiculous for me to point out disproportionate Jewish representation in media and politics? Which, by the way, is real. There are a lot of them there for complicated reasons, but you don't seem to care.
Why are they doing that, Josh? They're doing that because they have an ignorant racism towards Jewish people. Why are colonized people trying to figure out how to decolonize themselves?
Okay, you need to, hold on.
Different context.
So while Jewish people in America are certainly an oppressed minority in many, many respects, there are elements of disproportionate control that they enjoy. So looking at that, Nazis will say, well, is it so wrong for us to want to free ourselves from the colonizing influence of this ethnic group with an oppressive and a colonial set of intentions for our people? This is the logic they all use, and it all stems, all of it, 100% from what you're doing and I don't. The essentialization of a racial group.
Because you're saying that, like, white people or white
I am not asking you to be I'm not asking you to be pro-colonization. I'm asking you to not essentialize racial groups.
White nationalists are saying that.
The worst part about this debate is that it's clear Professor Flowers thinks that she's and exempt from being purged in the version of the land back. Of course she does. Of course she believes that no, I'm one of the good ones, and they're gonna allow me to stay because I'm not white. That's what she thinks. Yeah, that's exactly what she thinks. She said it earlier in that video that I did the other day, other part, where she's like, well, we better give the complete land back to the natives and pray to God that they let us stay here. Except for those white people, because the white people colonized them, so get revenge. Fuck. Let's go.
Jewish people are colonizing people because they own stuff. Is that what's going on?
I am telling you, your sociological analysis would be
colonizing African countries.
Your sociological analysis would be better if you stopped essentializing socioeconomic problems to racial groups, because that is the logic every group that we hate does.
Colonizers are white. So you'd prefer it if I said that we need to deal with the white people who are colonizing them, but not all white people are colonizers. So that's what you want me to say.
Just talk about...
Yes! Yes! Say that! Deal with the white people who colonize them, and not all white people are colonizers. Yes, that's all this conversation he's been trying to get you to say. That's it. That's it. Just like the eyes of indigenous people, she also is a byproduct of colonization, therefore a colonist. Yeah, exactly.
With colonization, because it's not just white people who benefit from it either. There are black people in South Africa who benefit from colonization. There are Native Americans here today in America that benefit from their oppression.
Benefiting from colonialism. That structure was literally created to benefit the white people who are colonizing it. It's not out of character.
Hey, you benefit from colonization, then you're a colonizer. Well, a lot of people are benefiting from it. No. Who benefits the most? Wow. Yeah. Of course. And again, these are like, when you talk to like black people in the community that have to deal with just struggling shit, they don't want to like have like white people gone. They just don't want to be fucked with. They would happily live next to whoever as long as they're not fucked with. But these motherfuckers, they just want to be motherfucking, they want revenge.
It's not a misrepresentation to say that this is an issue of white people colonizing people. And I can't believe that this whole debate was about that. What the fuck?
So again,
what the fuck, Bosh? Like,
do you think I'm gonna try this?
That's the point that you're harping on.
I'm gonna try this one more time.
This is why we've been talking for like an hour.
I'm gonna try this one more time. Do you think crime in America is a black problem?
Maybe you should try something else.
You're not even gonna engage.
I tried to engage with it several times, and I already think that your point is irrelevant right here. So if you want to try to make it clear, or if you want to use a different example, I'll listen to that.
Okay.
Oh no, she straight out said that Hakeem was a colonizer. She said it. Even though he was a immigrant, came over way after any colonization happened. She said it.
But again, historically, colonization is done by white people, and historically, to this day, they are still benefiting off of it. So it's not wrong for me to say that colonization is an issue of white people benefiting off of colonial structures.
So I'll just end with this, I guess, because I don't know how much farther we're capable of going. Your sociological analysis would get you laughed out of any undergraduate degree, and I can say that with the absolute confidence of a person who didn't get laughed out of my classes. Your analysis is so vanishingly shallow that it leaves out any of the nuances that allow us to meaningfully critique these systems. The fact that not all white people participated in colonization willingly, or knew what they were doing, or that people born to those people aren't the same as people who initially engaged in it, or that they were doing it for benefit of power structures that they were victims of, or any of a million other things. These are all nuances that your desire to essentialize white people completely destroy. I think that you probably are a bit racist, and I think it's a bad look, and I think you would be a much better anti-colonialist if you address those problems, because this is genuinely bad. Wait, did you mute yourself, or are you talking to your own audience? Well, I guess that's about I guess that's about as clean of a finisher as we're getting to this one, huh? Wait, I didn't mute her. I didn't touch anything. I didn't mute. I know I get accused of... Wait, why... Don't you raise your hands. What do you... I didn't mute. What do you mean? Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me, but I can't. Okay.
Oh my god. Really? She
Would
muted
you
herself.
like me to call again?
She muted herself.
Okay, I'll just do that then. Hello?
She muted herself.
Are we
Can you hear?
Oh my god. Okay.
There we
hold
go.
on. All right.
Hi.
Somebody press something. I didn't have my hand on the mouse. I get accused of
I
muting
don't know what
something, so-
happens.
Okay, look,
whatever.
can we just be anti-colonialist without the fucking crazy racial essentialism, if at all possible?
It's not. I just don't think it's crazy to say that there's an issue of colonialism with white people.
But
Like,
okay,
just
do you think there's an issue with crime with
understand
black people?
Why?
I mean, like, I don't know how many times that, like, it needs to be said to her that, like, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't fucking get it. This is just weird, bro. Like, this is some weird champ shit where you just think that, hey, because white people, then they're colonizers. That's just real bad. All right, let's go.
Do you think?
I think there's an issue with crime with black people in the sense that black people have been put in really shitty situations because of racism. It's like I can understand that, like, the white people who have colonized people, it happened because they came from places where kings and queens were trying to, profit off of colonialism, and that those people are kind of just puppets in that instance. And at the same time, there's white people. Those very white people are still benefiting off of colonialism, and that's continued to this day, and that's still a problem.
I feel like your moral philosophy just boils down to if white people are at fault, go ham, and if non-white people are at fault, roll back to sociological explanations until white people are at fault, you know?
Yes,
What if-
exactly.
what if we talked about-
That's exactly what
I'm talking about colonialism. And I think what colonialism is horrible. It's like literally taking the power away from people. It's taking their land away. It's destroying their culture. It's trying to make them assimilate into a whiter culture. And that's a problem. Colonialism.
This is why I see, and I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. I think a lot of shit like this really comes down to, but I don't feel like I'm black enough. And I will say, and again, I'm gonna say this: I'm not taking away, somebody like Professor Flowers' blackness or some shit like that. I want to actually say that, hey, you're enough of a person to be your person. No one is taking away your blackness. But a lot of these people feel that they have to be, and I joke with my friend, they have to be blackity black black black, blackity black black black, in order to find some way of, I don't know, finding some identity in and of themselves. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, right? But Crimson, I grew up black. I know, right? I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I had to deal with shit that black people had to deal with because I'm black. And the history that comes along with it has actually, helped me get strength to proceed on and carry on. But it's not all that I am. But for a lot of these people, I feel that they feel like them being, people of color, them being not exactly on the, because I hate the idea of saying, oh, they're not straight, like, or them being, not cis. Like, they take that as an identity where just like, no, it's just you are you. And they take parts of their identity as if it's, just I don't know, like, instead of a personality, they take their identity cards to try to put together a personality. And that's sad to me. And it's sad to me because, quite frankly, I play video games, but gaming is not what defines me. I would say I'm an artist, but that's something that defines me because the communication that I do through my visual arts. But a lot of these people, they feel as if they can't communicate themselves, like they can't have their own personality, so they attach to parts of the identity instead of having a personality. And Professor Flowers is one of those people. But let's go.
It's horrible. It destroys like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years of people's history. So it's kind of a big deal. And so what I'm saying is that people who are colonized need to figure out how to have their own self-determination again, because that's been taken away.
None of this has
and
anything to do with racial essentialization.
Countries.
Okay, I know. You can keep running back to the colonization bad thing. It just doesn't mean much because I completely agree with you and have never disagreed with that point. I'm saying you're a worse
you're just mad because I'm saying that white people are colonists, and you want me to say that like the white people who are colonists are colonists.
No, I'm just okay.
Is that
No. Actually, yes, that's exactly what it is. White people are upset at you, Professor Flowers, because you think that all white people are colonizers. That's why people are upset with you. That's exactly why. That is exactly right. You hit the head on the fucking nail on the fucking head. That's exactly why people are mad with you. Because you're essentializing a whole group of people to the fact that they're colonizers. Oh, yeah, no, fuck. FD couldn't stand light jabbing from fucking Shark. He definitely wouldn't go in the box with fucking Destiny. Oh, not Destiny. He definitely wouldn't go in the box with Vosh, let alone Destiny.
No, it's fine. You can phrase this as like I don't know.
I identify as God, so now okay, let's go.
Whitey upset that he learned white people did bad things or whatever. I just think that your analysis is really, really shallow and it's hurting your ability to understand these problems, you know?
Well, I could say the same for you.
But my argument is we shouldn't essentialize.
Or maybe Tanzania. What am I essentializing though? What am I essentializing when I say that colonialism is an issue of white people colonizing things? This isn't to say that other people can't colonize people. I mean, there's been a colonization from multiple different people, but I think when you're looking at the global stage of the main issues of colonialism that we're dealing with today, so much of it is from Europeans.
And hey, you know, there are other bad things that are disproportionately done by other racial groups too. But thankfully, I like to look underneath the hood and think about the broader socioeconomic issue.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there's not. I just don't understand why you're upset at me for saying
my cat is mad. Hold on, my cat is the actual upset. Hey, Jen. Go.
Oh. You guys got everybody keeps talking about Baldur's Gate 3. I'm sorry. Help me out. Is it like Diablo 2? I bought Diablo 2 and like Diablo 3, but you guys had to let me out. Everybody keeps saying Baldur's Gate, and I'll think about it. I just never thought about getting it. That's just me though.
All right, we freed the. Okay, yeah, So how many brownie points did we get?
You got one because earlier you were talking about how in a different video you were saying that you platformed a creator 1/30th of your size. So you got a brownie point for that.
Do you feel platformed right now?
Not much else, sadly.
Oh. Well, I guess we'll both fight colonialism in our own ways, you know?
Fuck. Oh my gosh. This shit is sad.
All right, well. Do you want to shout yourself out?
This shit is just sad.
Not really. There were some things that you...
Okay, the thoughts of either of them having a civil conversation with Vosh is unthinkable to them, even though James Baldwin had a real live debate with the racist as William F. Buckley. These are some similar between... okay, there are some similarities between... is more like a Telltale than RPG. Actually, I think I did. I actually did have a conversation. I did go over that James Baldwin debate, or I may have just watched it. But yeah, no, James Baldwin is the motherfucking man. And if you can actually check out some of my videos on him. He is just smooth as shit. I remember he is smooth as shit. The way he was talking to that one reporter. And she was just looking at him, and I'm still looking at him like, motherfucker, she knows that you are maybe bi or a gay man, but she's still ready to fuck the shit out of you. The way he had her looking and smiling, boy. I'm like, this motherfucker was smooth. This motherfucker was smooth as shit.
Said in the last video, can I ask about, or are you just ready to move on?
Oh no, you can hit it up. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's run it through.
Okay, so I guess we're moving on from that point. There's just like a few things in my video that you had said, or when you were reacting to the last one. One thing that you said was that it was like Weasley that I defined listening as understanding. I don't understand why you thought that was Weasley, because I said this in my first video, but you had skipped that part. Yeah, I just don't really know why that's Weasley.
I think I don't remember the specific context, but I think a lot of people say like listen to X group, and what they actually mean is dogmatically agree with X group. You know?
Oh no, okay. So here's the thing. That is very, very true. That is extremely true. You'll get so many people that says, I had one in my comment section recently. You didn't listen to the video. No, motherfucker, I didn't agree with the video. There is a difference. I listened to the video. I thought it was bullshit, and I didn't agree with the video. And a lot of people take listening as you need to fucking agree. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to agree with that bullshit. Let's go.
God knows that's
I made
happened
sure to make that
times.
distinction in like the first video, and then you skipped it. So it's like, yeah,
Well,
it's not what I was saying.
It's a good video. I apologize for missing that part.
Okay. The next thing is, so I didn't say that all ridiculed black people. Oh yeah. So another thing is that you say that all ridiculing of black people is racist, and I made sure to say that a lot of times white people ridicule black people, it is racist. But I didn't say that like you can't just ever like make a joke about black people. I think it probably is racist, but I'm sure there's exceptions, and that's why I made sure to use the words usually.
Wait, what?
It felt like from the context of the video, you.
Wait, what? Wait. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That didn't make sense to me. When you ridicule black people, then it probably is racist. But I didn't say it's all racist. Like, she does realize what the fuck she just said. She does realize the shit that she just said, right? That just wasn't just like out of nowhere. She just literally said that I had a problem with you saying with you feeling like me saying that ridiculing black people is racist. I mean, it probably is racist, but I had a problem with you saying that. Like, I heard that, right? Okay. Fuck, that's stupid.
It seemed like you were making the argument that, for the most part, like pretty much any ridiculing that you would do of a black person would be racist. I don't know.
I said usually, because I think a lot of times when white people ridicule black people, it usually is racist, but I'm sure there's some sort of exception. I can't really think of one off the top of my head.
I don't actually remember you saying usually, but you might have.
That's still bad. That's still bad. When you think that whenever a white person ridicules a black person, it's just straight out racist, that's still bad. I don't... Oh, okay. Wow, that... Oh. Wow, she's fucking dumb. All right, let's go.
Probably
I definitely did.
Yeah, I mean, because it's pretty ridiculous to say that every instance of ridiculing a black person would be racist. I don't know. I feel like the boundary is drawn somewhat arbitrarily. Lord knows I've been called racist for saying things that I do not think are racist. So the cancel culture mob is run amok, etc., etc.
Okay. And one of the last things I want to talk about is like you accused me of pearl clutching because I said that you're making this place hostile for a number of black people. And
okay, good. Fuck. I hope I make the motherfucking online left fucking hostile for a few black people. People like FD Signifier. People like Professor Flowers. Look, you're not a leftist. You can have your platform, but you're not a leftist. Go over there and make you motherfucking cornbread tube. Go ahead. Have fun with your cornbread tube. Be there. Have fun. This shit is just like ridiculously fucking stupid. And yeah, like it's just pointed out in the chat, sometimes this shit is just actually cliquish. That's all it is. What part of the clique I am. Well, let's go.
Yeah, I just really wanted to say, fuck you. You are.
Is out of curiosity, how much harassment have you gotten from my community?
I've got a lot of comments. I don't really know how to quantify that, but
It's just I
enough
often
for it to be upsetting.
I often get accused of like having a really bad community and that like I send people to harass, but I honestly feel like, I mean, I have a huge community. If I wanted to, I could bury a smaller channel, but it's never happened. I feel like my community is generally pretty good, you know? I don't know if I make this like hostile to anyone, really. Even people who I openly, strongly dislike, like Bad Empanada or Thought Slime, I'm pretty sure like they don't really get anything from me. You know?
They do. Yeah, they actually totally do.
I guess I'd need to see how much.
How?
It's inevitable that there's going to be some kind of backwash to that, but
It's like
really,
whenever this stuff happens, there's like a wave of your fans and audience just like shitting on people.
but
It's like,
So, it's a difference between shitting on people. Like, right now, most of my commentary is me shitting on her because this shit is 2 years old and I can just be like this because, you know, reasons. But the fact that she doesn't get the fact that disagreeing and shitting on somebody like her is two different things lets me know exactly where a lot of these people are. They don't want critique. They don't want criticism. They just want you to listen. And what listening means is just fall in line and agree. Yeah. And that shit was led by Hassan. But let's go.
whenever someone disagrees with you, there's like all these people who are like really angry and accusing you of things that aren't really happening.
Is it
There's people who's, like,
harassment or is
searching-
it criticism though? Because usually when I see people like the screenshots come out of my community, it's like, I think this is a bad video, vouch good. Which, while it may be annoying, I don't necessarily know if that's shitting on you. That just seems like the sort of thing that YouTubers do. When you say like making it intolerable for black content creators, I feel like the implication is that like anytime a black person disagrees with me, their whole channel gets swamped with racism or something, which it definitely doesn't happen.
I mean, like just in the examples that I've given, like for example, like St. Andrew, who you like really believe is a racist, like because this person and you know, it's about No Name's tweet where No Name's like this content is a few, and St. Andrew tries to talk about that. You in that conversation, like you accuse St. Andrew of starting a race war, of being a segregationist, of being anti-black, of being pro.
When like all of this, remember before she was saying that Vosh was making straw man and shit like that. With these accusations, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Oh yeah, of course they want a hug box. Of course they want a hug box.
White, and then your audience sees that and they're like, oh yeah, fuck this person. People are gonna watch this video of me talking with you and they're like, oh yeah, fuck this person. This person's basically a separatist who wants to have a mass genocide. Like that's their takeaway.
Yes, but it's not because Vosh told me to think that way. It's because the shit that she's saying. I don't. She's getting harassment. She's getting condemnation because of the shit that she's saying. Okay. Yeah, sure, kid.
Point is that when you have these arguments with people, it doesn't actually end up representing what they're saying. And so anyone that you disagree with, because you're just comparing them to white nationalists willy-nilly, is making things very toxic for a number of black people who disagree with you.
But I stand
it's gonna be
by.
fucked up for me.
Well, then maybe, I don't know, like that's kind of on them if they have opinions so odious that it leads to like people getting mad at them. I don't know. Like, does that mean that like if black people have like bad opinions, I can't disagree with them because that's me harassing them for their opinions? I don't know how to handle that.
But I don't think they're just like bad opinions. Like you just literally can't help but compare these things to white nationalism. Like, do you
I think
see
it's
what
a
is the bigger
salient
problem?
I think it's a salient criticism. I mean, it's not like I just go after like black people. I argue with people. Most of the people I argue with are white, of course, because I mostly argue with American conservatives. I don't think it's like me making the space inhospitable to black people. I just think that
The evidence, I made it the fuck up. Wait. You want evidence? You want evidence?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Watch the debate with St. Andrews over the bad no name tape, which was going into bad racial dynamics, and Andrewism was somewhat caught defending it. Of course he did. Oh yeah, she farmed this shit for months. For months. They made me want to get off the internet, and I had to take a mental health break. Yeah, exactly. Oh god.
People who disagree with me usually end up feeling bad about it because I'm a larger platform, so any disagreement that comes from my direction is going to be felt disproportionately. But I can't just not criticize people.
But it's like literally when I talk about Black people having their own self-determination.
Okay, but
you compared me to Hitler.
That is
you know
explicitly the line that white nationalists use. So that doesn't differentiate you from them at all.
Man, when you say, like, when your fucking words start to sound like you're about to start the 14 words, and you have an issue with that, come on now, you gotta understand how that shit sounds, right? You have to understand how that shit sounds. You literally are about to start, reading off the fucking 14 words. But because you get called out for it, I didn't say that. You're about to literally call out the 14 words.
Even though, like, okay, genocide shouldn't happen, but people should figure out how to get rid of their colonizers, get rid of colonialism, and they need to have that conversation and figure out what that is, and it's look different for every place. You can't have that conversation without comparing me to Hitler.
No,
you know what I'm saying? You literally called St. Andrew, accused him of having a race war. You accused No Name of being a segregationist because all she said was this tweet isn't for white people. You know what I'm saying? Those are such extremes.
I do disagree with the language of her tweet. I don't remember the stuff with St. Andrew.
You can disagree without comparing these people to white nationalists. That's what I'm saying.
What if I
because
think
Black people are talking about this stuff.
I don't have a...
See, the problem comes with this. Probably muttering shit under her breath, yeah, exactly. So here's the thing, and I'm going to be very honest with you guys. A lot of people have an aversion to being considered in the same ballpark as Nazis. Do people on the left throw that term around a lot? Yes, they fucking do. And I'm not gonna lie and just be like, no, it's used wisely, and no, it's used a lot. And the fact is, though, people don't want to be associated with that, even if they're doing the shit that is literally associated with that. That's the thing. Goose stepping. Why I'm geese marching. How dare you, motherfucker? You're doing this shit right now. No, I'm not. These people are gonna have some fucking issues because Nazis are the ultimate evil. And that's the problem. Yes, I get it. You don't want to be associated with Nazis. And yes, it fucking are we the bad guys? No, yes, you're the fucking bad guys. So stop doing the shit that makes you the bad guys. I'm sorry, that just seems like that's the easiest way to resolve it. I don't know, but let's go. It's called white folks getting offended by being called racist. It's yeah, exactly. White people that get offended by getting called racist. Our educational system is pretty bad at teaching the why and how of the Nazis being bad. It just makes recognizing the underlying ideas harder. Exactly. Nobody talks about the shit other than the Holocaust that the Nazis did. They never talk about the oppression to the German people. The fact that they literally start marching kids off to camps in order to indoctrinate them in this great heritage and history of the motherfucking Aryan state and bullshit like that. That's people don't talk about that shit. It gets so bad. It's like that Hassan clip. Dude, Hitler wasn't bad because he did imperialism. That was way down. It was bad because he was doing the Holocaust. No, the imperialism was also bad. Fuck this. All right, let's go.
problem with talking about it. Your
Maybe if you
video and this
understood
discussion
what these things
confirmed my
were.
fears that you believe in things that I think are horrendously unethical. I think my criticisms here are salient. I don't think these are spurious accusations that I made without thought. I spent the first year and a half of me doing this type of content without ever even thinking about black separatists. But then I noticed some patterns. Like, what was that guy, Nick Cannon? Was he the guy who went off on that? And then there was that other one. Was it Tariq Nasheed? There were some patterns that I noticed where people, black people, would express pro-black talking points with language that mirrored the rhetoric and the logic of white nationalists. And I saw people agreeing with them. And then I saw some other people kind of not agreeing, but maybe kind of defending them a little bit.
Exactly.
Sure. And, like, you can disagree with that, but you just maybe need to like understand what these things are before like making a video about it.
But I think I do. The video
I know
that you
you
saw,
think you do. Like, we're
the
just
video,
talking about like colonialism, and like even when I'm talking about like people like having the autonomy to get rid of colonialism.
Wait, how does that tie back into colonialism? I'm so lost. I'm so fucking confused. How does that tie back into colonialism? What? God. Oh God. All right.
Like there's all these different situations of what that looks like, and then your point is that I'm like Hitler. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a huge leap.
I don't
For
think
you,
that's
it's
a
not.
summary.
But I think you need to actually understand about like what colonial looks like. Like learn about countries that have decolonized.
Is that what
learn
you
about
got
what that
out
looks
of
like. There's like a bunch of.
But I'm
Yes!
anti-colonial. I've
So here's the thing. This whole conversation boils down to my feelings hurt that you associated the shit I'm saying to the shit Nazi said. That's what this conversation is. And I don't like that you do that. Are you doing that? I'm not doing that because I didn't say the racist term, but you literally said the racist thing. No, because you can only be racist against white folks. Like, that's this conversation. That's the whole of this conversation. But let's go.
agreed with that the entire time.
But this whole time you tried to paint me as someone who's cool with genocide.
So
you know what I'm saying? We're stuck in that for most of the debate.
Over the course of this conversation, there are two things that you kept doing and continue to do. One of them is that you said that oppressed peoples have a moral right, if they choose to excise people of different races if those were colonizers. That is a form of genocide. You said that explicitly. You can't back out of that. And secondly, you continue to essentialize socioeconomic trends to white people if they're the ones disproportionately committing it, which I think hinders your analysis. Those are two things you do, and I think that a lot of white nationalists do exactly those two things as well. In fact, that logic, those are like the two foundations of ethno-state creation. So that's the problem that I have, you know? And I don't think that's a spurious comparison. I think that it's fair. I wish that you would, at the very least, understand why I believe that, as opposed to strawmanning me and framing me as someone who's so wildly ignorant and like triggered by the sight of black people that I just freak out and start making like random accusations, because I don't think that's descriptive of this.
Okay, but the first part
There's no
it's
buts.
like I think like mass just like
Oh
killing
my
people,
God.
like having a like a literal genocide. I'm like, yeah, that would be messed up. But then me just saying like there might have to be a time where people get rid of the people who are colonized.
Okay, so this is the question of the day. Or I guess 2 years ago. What happens when the people don't want to leave? I'm sorry. What happens when the people don't want to leave or they can't leave? What do you do next? If you want to not live with your oppressors, how many camps do you put the people that they can't leave or don't want to leave in? How many camps are you going to have?
Like that's not the same. It's just like having like a mass genocide.
Well,
like,
you know, getting rid of is a very wide term that can be applied in a number of ways.
Example, like again, I gave the example of Kenya, who were like able to get rid of the
But I
colonizers.
explicitly asked you about the mass deportation of the 6 million white people in South Africa, and you said that it was the right of black South Africans to do that. You're saying that they have a right to commit a genocide. That's a pro-genocide stance as far as I'm concerned.
I think they have the right to at least figure out if they want the colonizers to be there or not, and like how to do that process. But
there is no colonizers. Damn it. Does she not get that? That the moment that she says colonizers, there are no colonizers there. There are no colonizers there. There are white people, yes, but they're not the colonizers. Fuck, she's dumb. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I really, I take issue with the idea that me being opposed to ethno-states means that I'm like toxic towards black content
But it's
creators.
not just like you being oppressed to ethno-states, because I think for me, like, even if like people got rid of like the white South Africans in South Africa, I think there's like ways that could happen that would be really messed up. But I do think it's for the black South Africans to figure out like how to do that in general. I guess I will say that there are some lines that definitely can be crossed, but that's not even just what I'm saying. Like what I'm saying is that like people who just disagree with you, you can't help but compare them to white nationalists,
Well,
and that's a huge issue.
Only if they
take.
sound like white nationalists.
And see, that's what she's missing a lot. He's not just saying every black person that disagrees with me is a white nationalist. No, like literally, friend of the channel, Rico. Rico was a black guy that came on Vosh stream that had disagreement with him. Vosh didn't call him a black separatist, a black nationalist. No, that's not what happened. Like seriously. Oh my god. Oh my god. Damn it. This chick is stupid.
I disagree with lots of people who I don't call white nationalists. I try to...
But like you were saying that
leave
No
it at
Name is a segregationist just because No Name said that this tweet isn't for white people.
But I have defended the language that I've used, but I do not think that means that this is just something I throw at all black people. I've explained the logic behind why I've said what I've said. You can think that it's hyperbolic if you want, but I think that the logic is consistent and follows a strong through line, and I stand by it. It does scare me a little bit when I see stuff like this from people who purport to be on the left, because it makes me worry sometimes that the conservative stereotype of anti-racism is alive in some people, that some people are driven principally by resentment, not a desire to make things equal, but...
And I've said this. I've said this myself. A lot of these people that are on the left, they are fueled by the motherfucking averseness of what the conservative stereotype of the left actually is. And that's fucking terrifying. The only leftism that you know is the stereotype of what the conservatives think. Wow, that's fucking stupid. People like Professor Flowers are terminally online and over 23. Public education is really an excuse for that ignorance. No, public education is not. It is not.
But rather a desire to take out the historical pain of oppression on the oppressor group. And I see that in the way you insist on essentializing problems to white people, because I don't see any reason to do that besides emotional bias. It seems like a hole in an otherwise consistent analysis that is driven by resentment. And that
Like
makes me worry.
when you're saying that I'm like essentializing all problems to white people, what I'm saying is that white people profit off of colonialism, and that's like not an untrue statement. And I'm saying that issue needs to be dealt with. I'm not saying that like every white person like wants.
But you know, black people commit more crimes in the U.S. That's not an untrue state. Yes, of course. Fuck. Damn it. You don't get the shit. The conversation is stop essentializing white people. But let's go. PF should know better. Yes, but everything else in the political periodic. Oh wow, that's a word that I'm too tired to read. Who won't? Parody? I don't know. Which would lead them to go blindly and agree with the periphery. That's what it is. Professor Flowers should know better. Yes, everyone else in the political periphery won't. Which leads them to blindly agree with the black woman instead of picking up on the racial essentialism. They aren't anti-racist. They're against racism used against them. Of course they are. And Professor Flowers is a free thinker, like free of any thoughts thinker. All right, let's go. Let's go. Oh, we're doing a lot better time today than we
Even
did
actively
last
wants
time.
to colonize people. I'm just saying that there is an issue where white people are still profiting
You
off
said
it.
the
That's why
white
I even gave
people
the example.
in South
That's why I
Africa
gave the
were
example of my
colonizers.
dad, who is still able to profit off of racism as a white person.
Yeah, somebody in my chat makes a good point. I mean, you also profit off colonialism. You are American, I assume.
Yes, I'm American, but I still have to deal with racism. Like, there's ways you can profit off of it, but I find racism and colonialism to be extremely oppressive.
Well, you can't be like, oh, it's okay for me to be a colonizer if I'm also a victim of racism, can you? If you want to like go out.
No, this is why I'm saying like indigenous people. Like, in my opinion, I think that they should like decide what to do with their own land, and I don't think that's just in regards to white people. I don't think they would take literally all of their lands back. But
white South Africans are victims of classism, and the female white South Africans are victims of sexism, and the trans white South Africans are victims of transphobia. So maybe it's okay for them to be colonizers in South Africa as well because they have another intersectional axis to protect them from the consequences.
Again, I think that's up to South Africans to figure out what to do with people who colonize them.
Maybe they should figure out what to do with you.
To colonize themselves.
Because you're a colonizer too,
South
right?
Africa.
No,
I think indigenous people definitely have the right to figure out what to do with
No, the whole third world. After all, we're all participating in the colonization of the developing world, right? Maybe like the 2 or 3 billion people that we get all of our material resources from should get to decide what to do with the rest of us, since our colonization doesn't just end at the border, does it? It's not like you can only be a colonizer.
Did she low-key make the argument that we've seen from a lot of people that made the arguments against the Palestinians make? Well, I mean, like, if, Native Americans want to come in, start acting like the savages that, people imagine them to be, and, well, GG, like, uh-oh, my fault for being born in this country. She unironically did that shit. She literally unironically did that shit. GG. Gotta give it to them. These motherfuckers came in and just like, wow, this is stupid. Let's go.
If you're physically in the land that's being colonized, right? You and I both economically benefit tremendously from America's exploitation of the rest of the world.
Yeah, I don't understand why that would also be bad for like the people who are exploited to figure out what to do about their exploitation from us. Like if people were like, I don't want to like, let's try to create an economic system where we don't have to be exploited by America. Like, I don't understand why that would be.
What if they wanted to take a bomb and make sure a few cities are now covered in glass? What now? What would you say then? And see, that's the thing. People like Professor Flowers, again, they think they're exempt from the colonized label, but they're not. They're not whatsoever. Oh. Yeah, exactly. She pulled the noble savage shit.
An issue.
What if they want Westerners to leave the planet because we've engaged in too much global colonization?
Well, I think that issue is different because they're being exploited by us, but we're not actually like colonizing in a sense where we're like pushing those people out of their land.
Oh, no. But we're economically colonizing them. You can actually make a stronger case that America is economically colonizing different countries right now. Well, so is China, and Russia's trying to do it, but their economy is going to shit right now because, elective war. But they're literally doing that shit right now. Right now. We're economically colonizing places. Fuck sitting in the tank, sending the dollars. Fuck, she's stupid.
Well, we're pushing them out of developed land with sweatshops and factories, and we're doing it through an economic system we benefit from.
Their autonomy and like self-determination to be like, well, how do we get rid of the colonial structures in here? Like, how do we get rid of like all these structures that like feed money back to America while we make nothing? I think in that situation, like they should have the right to determine that.
Shouldn't they have a right to determine whether or not to share the planet with the colonizers? I mean, should they just... So even if they take back their country, the people in these colonized countries just have to live with the permanent indignity and economic inequality of living on a planet that has countries like America and England as well?
No, I don't understand what you're getting at.
Well, I mean, our presence here continues to take away from them. The carbons that we belch out into the air, the resources that we take from the rest of the world, our presence in geopolitical weight. It seems like the most ethical way to handle all of this is to find the single most oppressed person on Earth, like a disabled trans woman somewhere in Bangladesh, and ask them if they want to nuke the rest of the planet. It just seems to me like your logic is fundamentally about retaliation.
Really strange slippery slope fallacy. Like, I'm saying that colonized people should have the autonomy to decolonize themselves. And you're saying that we should find the most oppressed person in the world and ask them if we should nuke someone. Like, do you see how that's not the same thing?
I mean, you're saying that oppressed people have a right to excise millions of people from their country. But borders are arbitrary. We all live on a planet, don't we? I mean, does it have to stop at the border? Why should national inheritance be the limit of the retribution the oppressed have the right to inflict upon their historical oppressors?
I'm not talking about retribution. I'm talking about how to get rid of a colonial problem, and that's really different.
Would America stop being a colonial problem if our businesses just got out of those countries? No, we'd still be a huge problem, wouldn't we? It seems like we pose an existential threat to the oppressed, colonized people of the world, one which they would perhaps have almost unlimited legitimacy in ridding themselves of.
I think that there is a lot to be said for the power dynamics in other countries. Like, I don't really think one country should have enough power to determine how the rest of the world lives. So I think dismantling that power is really important.
How do you
I don't think that
dismantle
means
power?
like, I think like you could try to perhaps like push for socialism. Like if every country was socialism, I think that would lead to a more equitable outlook of things. But
So, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to actually end this soon, guys. I can't do any more of this. This shit is hurting my brain. And look forward to me putting both of the videos together, editing out the yeah. But you want socialism after you get your pound of revenge. This shit's stupid. I'm done, guys. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm tired. No, on camera. Hold on. But yeah, no. This shit is crazy. And I don't know what else to say. My brain hurts. I'm tired. Thank you guys for watching. And just don't be this asshole. Just don't be this asshole. So I have to do good night.
What do you think that these executives are afraid you're going to do to white America?
Probably stop some racism.
Stop racism?
Yeah, I'm probably afraid of that because then people don't hate each other, and people start talking to each other, and then they start talking to each other. They find out who's the problem.
Which is?
Greedy people.
Greedy. I have a couple things I want to ask you there. Do you really think that some of the guys that you dealt with at NBC, no names, right? Because there's lawsuits for that too, that some of these guys really want to promote racism actively, or is it a subconscious?
I just think it's part of capitalism is to promote racism, you know, right? In order to make things work. If you feel better because you're white and you can get a job, you use that. I mean, you know, I would.
Absolutely.
Say, I'm sorry, Jack, but shit, they say I'm white. I'm going to use this.
Right, absolutely.
Get this job. I'm hungry, you know. But, and that separates people. So they keep people separated, and that keeps them from thinking about the real problem. That's as simple as I see it. Probably it's not that simple, but...
Now, all right, you and I are about the same age, right? We're in our mid-30s. How long is it going to take before guys who think like you, and I say guys who think like me, people who don't want to have racism in the country, people who don't want to be oppressing any minority, whatever it is, sexual, whatever minority, really get into positions of power and can change things?
You can't get in a position of power, it seems, if you think like that. It seems that the only time you get in a position of power is if you're like the people that are in power. To me, I mean, that's the way it goes. I mean, people that get to become executives become like the people that were already executives.
I don't know, maybe...
They go in with good intentions, but it eats them up. It's like a cesspool, you know, it just gets on you and it starts
the system
eating.
levels them.
Pretty soon it's all
Is that
gone.
what a cesspool sounds like?
Yes.